My name is Nate Carver, and I've spent the last 9 Christmas Eves alone in a snowplow on a mountain road that no one in their right mind should be driving after dark. Our town, Brackenridge, sits halfway up a mountain. There's only one way in or out, a narrow 2-lane road that twists through thick forest, skims the edge of an old rock quarry, and finally drops down to the highway. If that road closes, the town closes with it. No last-minute presents, no stranded relatives rescued from the airport, no ambulances if something goes wrong in the night. So while everyone else is doing their best to pretend they like eggnog and forced conversation, I'm out there pushing snow into the dark, making sure brake lights can still find their way home. I used to tell myself that made me useful, necessary even. The quiet felt like a reward. The cab would be warm, the heater rattling like it always does, and the radio would cycle through the same 10 Christmas songs until they blurred into background noise. Outside, the world would go white and still, my headlights carving 2 tunnels through falling flakes. This year, it didn't feel like a reward. This year, from the moment I left the depot, it felt like I was late to something, like someone else had already started my shift. The storm had rolled in early on December 24th. By 8 p.m., the town was buried under a foot of powder, with more coming down in thick curtains. I threw on my jacket, grabbed my thermos, and climbed into Unit 3, the oldest but most reliable plow in our fleet. "Sorry to drag you in, Nate," my supervisor had said, "but you know how it is. If we don't keep that road clear, half the town misses Christmas." "Yeah," I'd told him, "somebody's got to be Santa." That little joke stuck in my head as I eased the plow out on Main Street. Christmas lights blurred in the blowing snow. Inflatable Santas and reindeer sagged under white blankets in front yards. A few kids pressed their faces against frosted windows, watching me pass. At the edge of town, the houses stopped, the trees started, and I was alone with the storm. The first few passes were routine. I drove up toward the highway, blade down, pushing heavy snow off to the right, the engine growling under the hood. On the way back down, I salted the worst curves and checked that the reflector posts were still visible. I'd done this so many times I could practically drive it with my eyes closed. Around 10 p.m., I made my third run toward the top. The snow had picked up, thick enough that the high beams just showed a wall of white. I was crawling along at 20 miles an hour, following my own tracks from the last pass, when the radio crackled. Not the FM radio in the dash, the old CB mounted under it, the one we barely use anymore except to chat between trucks. "Nate, you up there?" It was Greg from Unit 1, the newer plow. I grabbed the mic. "Yeah, just past the quarry. You heading up?" A pause. "Negative. I'm still chained up at the depot. They haven't sent me out yet." I frowned and glanced into the mirror. For the last few minutes, I'd had this strange sense of someone's headlights behind me, just beyond the swirl of snow. I'd chalked it up to reflection, or maybe another car. "Anyone else on the road?" I asked. "Nope," Greg said. "You're it." "Copy," I said, and hung the mic back up. I checked the mirror again. Nothing but blown snow and the faint orange blink of my own rear beacons. Weird. I could have sworn I saw something. Something thumped on the roof of the cab. Just once. A solid, dull impact directly over my head, hard enough to make a few flakes shake loose from the headliner. I flinched so hard I jerked the wheel. The plow slid toward the ditch. I corrected, heart suddenly hammering. Tree branch, I told myself. Packed snow from an overhanging limb, that's all. But there were no overhanging branches on this stretch of road. I knew that for a fact. We'd cut them all back after a tourist bus lost a windshield 2 winters ago. I eased off the gas and listened. The only sounds were the engine, the blower, and the hiss of snow under the tires. Then I noticed the tire tracks. Up ahead, my headlights caught 2 fresh lines in the snow. They weren't mine. I hadn't been this far on this pass. These were narrow, spaced closer together, from a smaller vehicle, like a pickup or SUV. They hugged the center line, weaving slightly, like whoever was driving was nervous. I gritted my teeth. "Idiots," I muttered. "Nobody's supposed to be up here without chains."
Still, it wasn't unusual to get a late shopper coming back from the highway, or some out-of-towner who thought four-wheel drive made them invincible. I followed the tracks up the grade.
They climbed the hill ahead of me, then dipped into the sharp S-curve we call Widow's Turn. I could see where the vehicle's driver had tapped their brakes, the tire marks darkening and going a little sideways. I slowed even more. "Take it easy, buddy," I said under my breath. "You're not in a hurry. Not tonight." Only, whoever it was, they were in a hurry. At the top of Widow's Turn, the tracks straightened and then vanished. One moment they were there, crisp in the fresh snow, leading right down the center of the right-hand lane. The next, they just stopped. No skid marks, no spray of snow kicked up from a sudden turn, no tire ruts leading off the shoulder toward the trees or the ditch. Just gone. Like the vehicle had lifted straight up into the air. I stopped the plow in the middle of the road and stared at the spot where the tracks ended. My brain tried to come up with explanations. Maybe the wind had filled them in. Maybe I'd misjudged the curve and they'd peeled off somewhere I hadn't noticed. But the snow was fresh, undisturbed, and I could see my own headlights reflecting off the smooth surface ahead where nothing had driven. I grabbed the CB again. "Greg, you still there?" Static. Then his voice, faint and scratchy. "Yeah, man, what's up?" You didn't send anyone else out? No one from county?" "Negative. Why?" I hesitated. "I'm seeing tracks up here. Recent, but they just end." A long pause. "And how?" "Like the vehicle disappeared." Another pause, longer this time. "Nate, you been drinking?" "No," I said quickly. "I'm serious. There's tracks and then there's nothing." "Probably just the wind, man. It's a hell of a storm." "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, you're probably right." But I didn't believe it. I put the plow back in gear and kept moving, slower now, eyes scanning the road ahead. The tracks didn't reappear. Whatever had made them was gone. Or not gone. Just somewhere I couldn't see. At the top of the pass, where the road flattens out before it drops toward the highway, I stopped to check the salt spreader. The wind had died down a little up here, and the snow was coming in light, lazy spirals instead of the heavy curtain it had been lower down. I stepped out of the cab, boots crunching in the powder, and walked around to the back of the truck. Everything looked fine. The hopper was still half full. The auger was spinning smoothly. That's when I saw the footprints. They started at the edge of the road, maybe 10 feet from where I was standing, and led straight toward my plow. Fresh footprints, boot prints, deep and clear, like someone had just walked through. But there was no one there. I turned in a slow circle, scanning the tree line, the road, the empty white expanse on either side. The wind picked up again, and I heard something that made my skin crawl. Singing. Faint, barely audible over the wind, but unmistakable. Silent night, holy night. A woman's voice, soft and sweet like a lullaby. It was coming from the trees. "Hello?" I called out, my voice sounding small and stupid in the vastness. The singing stopped. I waited, heart pounding, breath fogging in the cold air. Nothing. Just the wind and the hiss of falling snow. I climbed back into the cab, locked the doors, which I'd never done before in 9 years, and started driving again. My hands were shaking. The thermos of coffee sat untouched on the seat beside me. I radioed Greg again. "Greg, I need you to do me a favor." "What's that?" "Check the old records. See if there's ever been an accident up here on Christmas Eve." Silence. "Nate, what the hell is going on?" "Just check, please." "All right, give me a few minutes." I made it down to the highway junction without incident. The state crew had already cleared the main road, and the intersection was lit up with their orange strobes and floodlights. I waved at one of the guys as I turned around to head back up. He didn't wave back. He just stared at me, or maybe through me, with this strange, blank expression. I didn't think much of it at the time. People get weird when they're cold and tired. But halfway back up the mountain, my headlights caught something in the road. A car, sitting sideways across both lanes, hood buried in a snowdrift, rear end sticking out toward the ditch. It was an old sedan, maybe from the 80s, faded red paint, rusted wheel wells, no lights, no exhaust. I stopped about 20 feet back and grabbed my flashlight. "Hello?" I called out as I approached. "You okay in there?" No answer. The windows were frosted over, but I could see shapes inside, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. I knocked on the driver's side window. "Hey, you folks all right?" Still nothing. I tried the door handle. It was unlocked. The door opened with a creak, and a wave of cold air rolled out, colder than the air outside somehow, like the car had been sitting there for hours. The driver was a woman, maybe in her 30s. She was slumped forward against the steering wheel, her hand still gripping it. Her eyes were closed. Her skin was pale, too pale. In the passenger seat was a man, older, dressed in a flannel coat, also unconscious, also too still. In the back seat was a little girl. She couldn't have been more than 6. She was clutching a stuffed reindeer, her head tilted against the window. "Hey," I said, louder now, reaching out to shake the woman's shoulder. "Hey, wake up, you need to." My hand passed through her. Not like I missed or slipped. I mean, it went through her shoulder, like she wasn't there. I jerked back, stumbling into the snow, my flashlight clattering to the ground. The woman didn't move. None of them did. Because they weren't there. Not really. I don't know how long I stood there, staring at that car, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. But when I finally worked up the nerve to look again, the car was still there. The people were still there. But they weren't breathing, weren't moving, weren't real. My radio crackled. "Nate, you there?" Greg's voice. I scrambled back to the cab and grabbed the mic. Yeah, I'm here. "I found something. December 24th, 1987. Family of 3, red sedan, got caught in a whiteout up on Widow's Turn. They slid off the road and into a snowbank. By the time anyone found them the next morning, they were gone. Froze to death." My mouth went dry. Where did they find them?" "Right around mile 9, near the top of the pass." I looked out the windshield at the car sitting in front of me. Mile 9. "Nate?" Greg's voice sounded worried now. "You seeing something up there?" "Yeah," I whispered. I think they're still here." I don't remember making the decision to get out of the plow again, but I found myself standing next to the sedan, staring through the frosted window at the little girl in the back seat. She looked so peaceful, like she was just sleeping. I reached out, slowly, and touched the glass. It was warm. The girl's eyes opened. She looked right at me, not through me, at me. And she smiled. "Were you here to help us?" she asked, her voice muffled through the glass. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. "We've been waiting," she said, "waiting for someone to find us." The woman in the front seat stirred, turned her head, her eyes open too, dark and hollow. "We've been waiting so long," she said. The man leaned forward, his face gaunt and pale. "Can you take us home?" I backed away, shaking my head, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. I can't, you're not..." "Please," the little girl said, pressing her hand against the window. "We just want to go home. It's Christmas."
I turned and ran back to the plow, threw myself into the cab and slammed the door. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the truck into gear. In the rearview mirror, I saw the car, still sitting there, the little girl's face pressed against the window, watching me. I hit the gas. The plow lurched forward, blades scraping against the asphalt, and I didn't look back. I drove down that mountain faster than I should have, faster than was safe, the snow swirling around me like I was driving through a tunnel of white static.
When I reached the depot, Greg was waiting outside, arms crossed, looking worried. "You all right, man?" he asked as I climbed out of the cab. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I laughed. It came out high and shaky. "Yeah," I said, "something like that." I didn't tell him what I'd seen, didn't tell anyone. What was I supposed to say? That I'd found a family that had been dead for 37 years, still sitting in their car, waiting for someone to take them home? I went home, took a long, hot shower, tried to sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that little girl's face, her hand pressed against the window, her voice asking me to help. Around 3 in the morning, I gave up and went back outside. The storm had stopped. The sky was clear, full of stars. Christmas lights twinkled in the windows of the houses around me. It should have felt peaceful. It didn't. I haven't worked Christmas Eve since. I told my supervisor I was done, that 9 years was enough. He didn't argue, said he understood, said everyone burns out eventually. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. That soft, sweet singing drifting through the wind. Silent night, holy night. And I wonder if they're still up there, still waiting, still hoping that someone, anyone, will take them home. Merry Christmas.